Alright, hey everyone, welcome back to another WRP live play TTRPG session. What is WRP? Why, that's me, Faye, game master and storyteller, and Lachlan, our writer and producer. We're a couple who love role-playing games and sharing stories, so much so that we quit our day jobs and we created our own company. That way we could create high-quality and exciting TTRPG experiences full-time and share them with you. And tonight, we're playing D&D. This session features D&D's Shadow of the Dragon Queen, a riveting adventure of courage and valor, where our intrepid heroes face unbeatable odds in a cataclysmic war. And with us at the table are several of the incredible players who have joined us on our grand endeavor. If you'd like to play alongside them, you're more than welcome to join us. You can ask in chat or hop over to our Discord to find out more information. Now, speaking of our awesome players, it's time for introductions. Like I said, I'm Faye, game master and storyteller. With me is Sirenscape, who brings our background music and sound effects. It's a fantastic and affordable sound collection that you can find at sirenscape.com. And now, let us meet our courageous and daring heroes before they are swept into combat with a golem that they found outside of a strange gate in the middle of the wastelands. So, let's begin with our introductions for Vass.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm playing Vass. He is a devilishly handsome tiefling bard rogue who has found himself accidentally stumbling across the multiverse. This week's fun fact about Vass is the boat trip last week and hanging out in the cove and smelling the salt air was very comforting and rejuvenating for Vass for a little bit, and then it just became painful because it reminded him of Neverwinter, and the fact that he's not there and doesn't know when he will be again.
We'll get him there, eventually. Next up for our introductions, let's learn about Hugh.
Hi, I'm Stefan. I'm playing Hugh DeVere, a flamboyantly, not fearless but close fencer. Fun fact about Hugh is that he's never owned a cat, so he also never known the joy of a cat walking all over his keyboard, just like I did right now.
Everyone should know that joy. Um, Amazing. And then last but not least, let's learn about Rue.
Okay, I am frontboard and I am playing Rhubarb Bafflewander, colloquially shortened to Rue. He's a forest gnome sorcerer who hails from the Isle of Sandcrest and the forests of that island, far west of the setting that we are in right now. I don't know if I have a fun fact. Let's think of something. Rhubarb has a mount, a phantom steed that you have not met yet, but maybe you will at some point. And her name is Fernelope. And she looks like a giant toad.
Looks like one. She is one.
A phantom giant toad.
I'm okay giving Phantom Giant Toad status. um, but yeah, so that covers our lovely characters, and with that, we can pick up into our session. And just for a bit of a brief recap, you did travel from Calamon to the Northern Wastelands. You found yourselves in the Records Edge Cove, where you docked. You did battle with some air elemental guardians on a Sylvanesti ship, and you met with one of the elves who came in on that ship. Oh man, what was his name? Dalamar, that's what it was. I was about to say something else that was along the lines, but not. You met Dalamar. And as you traveled back and went to the Elven encampment, you met his superior, Zelswell. Not a nice guy, it seems. But Dalamar seems to be a little bit, perhaps, more understanding, more negotiable than his boss, and has asked for you all to check out a few locations, and then to meet him at a third one. The locations were the Blue Phoenix Shrine and the Sunward Fortress. You are heading towards the Blue Phoenix Shrine. But along your travels, you got through most of the day when you came upon a strange gate in the middle of nowhere. Rhubarb was a bit curious about the possibilities of what could be existing in such a strange site, and upon going to investigate, the magic sparked and began to animate the broken debris and wreckage around it until it took the shape of a man, a guardian. You see this stone looking a proud figure, human-like, fine robes, and around its head an aura of sunbeams. But the creature does not seem to be the noble that it was once crafted. No. Currently, it seems quite angry and furious as it comes charging at you. And we are going to roll initiatives. Alrighty. So, we have Hugh going first, then Vass, Rue, and then our Golem Guardian. So, Hugh, first to act, what would you like to do?
I will do what Hugh is built to do. I put Hunter's Mark on and go in a stock stabbing.
Okay.
So a 19 and a 10.
The 19 will hit. Unfortunately, the 10 does not.
That is for 12. 4 psychic and 17 piercing damage.
So, what you, as you strike out, seem to realize quite quickly, this creature does not take psychic damage. It seems unaffected by your normally frightful presence in battle. And secondly, it doesn't seem to be affected by non-magical weapons.
Not affected at all, or just resistant?
It is not affected. It seems to be immune to non-magical weapons.
Oh boy.
Anything else, Hugh?
That would be it.
Vass, we come to your turn.
Great. Am I correct in assuming that this golem is made out of inorganic material?
You would be correct in that assumption.
Alrighty. Vax is gonna snap his fingers and attempt to shatter the golem, placing it in such a way that it hits the golem, but not you. So it's behind the golem. And because it's inorganic, it has disadvantage on its save.
Constitution save, yeah?
It is a Constitution DC 14.
Okay. So, the disadvantage negates its normal advantage, causing this to be a straight roll. And unfortunately, it succeeds with a 16.
Well, it'll take some damage at least. A whole 6.
And it will take the full 6 damage. It doesn't seem that there are any sort of resistances.
And if Vast has enough movement to, if he has 40 feet, if he's attacking, he'd like to move up into a flank behind the golem.
Yeah, you'd be able to move into the flank and get behind easily.
And then I think that'll be it.
Okay. Rue, it is your turn.
I'm nervous for you two. Are you gonna be able to hurt this thing, Hugh?
Best thing I can think to do is to draw Dragon Army longsword and attempt using that.
Okay, so you do have a way to touch him. Yeah, as I say, Rue remembers that Hugh has a whole arsenal of weapons around his waist. Something's bound to work here. Faye, I was up, I assume, a little closer to the gate.
Yes. This thing would have been running towards you, and your friends ran past you to get to it.
So they intercepted it. Okay. So I'm a little bit behind them. Perfect. Rue is going to mutter an incantation and cast haste with twin spell on both Vass and Hugh to try and bolster his allies.
Hell yeah.
And I'm going to use my I don't remember what the feature's called, the one that lets me reduce the amount of sorcery points that twin spell costs.
Your lunar, yeah, I know.
I think it's called Lunar Boon.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you good.
Use my Lunar Boon. So let me just do all of this accounting. It's 2 sorcery points, 1 spell, 1 Lunar Boon.
Could you remind us what haste does?
Absolutely.
I think I know, but I don't want to guess.
Yeah, your speed is doubled. You get +2 bonus to your AC. You have advantage on dex saving throws, and you get an additional action each turn. I don't know how Faye rules on that. It says 1 weapon attack only.
If you take the attack action, you can do 1 weapon attack only, but you can also use this weapon or this extra action to dash, disengage, hide, use an object, and I've allowed for spells to be used in the past, so I won't. I'll not stop doing that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was the one. It was the use a spell we used in a previous session. It might not have been Dragonlance though, so I can put it in our Avray if that helps, right?
Exclamation spell.
Yes. So you guys should be quicker and beefier than before. And for my bonus action, let's see, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna use my movement to move away from the fray and hide behind the biggest rock I can find if there is one.
The biggest rock you can find in the immediate vicinity is the one that's trying to kill you all.
Well, the biggest inanimate rock in the general vicinity.
There's not really one in this general vicinity, but you can definitely move away to be out of the fray.
That's fine.
Yeah, as Rue moves back, it is our golem's turn, and again, with the beams of the sunlight around its head and the fury on its face, it's going for the first thing that it sees, and currently that's you, Hugh, as it begins to slam forward. Um, and you know what? Why not? Because it's Berserk. No, I won't actually do that because it is Berserk. So it's just going to go for its slam attacks. First one against you, Hugh, is an 18.
That's gonna miss.
The second one definitely misses with a 10. It seems that in its fury or in its state of just awakening, it's having trouble properly aiming, and so you're easily able to dodge out of its attacks, which means it comes top of the round with you, Hugh. You do have a flank with Vass.
Alright. So, like I said, I'm going to be drawing a dragon army longsword. So I just added a longsword to the equipment. I had it in my backpack, but we didn't have a thing for it to have the fire damage or anything like that. So
No worries.
That's a miss, but this is with advantage, so it's also a miss.
Oh no!
Unless
It doesn't have bonuses to any of its attacks. It's not that kind of magic weapon.
yeah. So striking attack 13 or 13. Does a 13 hit?
Unfortunately, the 13 does not quite hit. It's close, but it just gets caught on the stone extremities. You just missed the AC. Anything else from Hugh?
No, that's all they can do.
All right.
Did you use the haste?
Oh, you've got your haste action.
Oh, that's right. I can strike one more time. That's gonna be a 15.
Yeah, but if you want to try and see if you get that critical hit.
Yeah.
15 hits. And then you get to add a d4 of fire damage.
Okay, 10 slashing. 3 fire.
Alright, so as you draw the long sword from the dragon army and you take this swing downwards, it does seem to take the full damages. And that does not make this golem a happy camper. But you found something that works against it. Anything else from you, Hugh?
That'll be it.
Vass, we come to your turn. You are in a flank with this figure.
Yes, and I would like, well, Vass would like to channel his infernal legacy to use a bonus action to cast Flame Blade and get his fiery scimitar.
Hell yeah.
And then he'd like to try and hit this golem.
Go for it.
That's an 18.
18 will hit.
And then I think I get sneak attack. That was a really good roll. I think I get sneak attack on it too.
I've given it before. I won't stop now.
Alright.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
And then, can I use my hasted action to do that again?
Yeah.
You have advantage on your rolls too.
Alright, I meant to roll that with advantage and forgot. That's a 25. to hit.
25 definitely hits.
And another 13 points of fire damage.
Hell yeah. Alrighty.
Then I
So,
should do 38 points of damage.
yeah.
Okay.
So, as your flame blade crackles into existence and you take these two slashes outward, you can see where the stone begins to bake and starts to crack underneath the intense heat. And Rue, we come to your turn.
Let's try and match that sun divine energy that he has with a little lunar energy granted by Lunatari and cast a guiding bolt at the golem. For, oh, almost. It's a 15 to hit.
15 hits.
Okay. You know, I am going to use a sorcery point to reroll some of that damage because those were terrible. So I'm going to reroll the 1, the 2, and the 2.
Okay, sounds good.
And turn it into a 1 and a 2. Fantastic.
Ooh.
So I actually reduced my damage. So that's, I think, 7 whole damage. Down from an 8. Wow.
Ouch.
I'm just a little rattled, okay? This thing is creeping me out.
So, it does glow though. The next attack has advantage.
That's true. They're flanking, but there's extra advantage. I don't think I have anything that I could do as a bonus action to do advantage because I don't have like any spiritual weapons or anything. I'm trying to think if I want to do anything else. I just used another sorcery point. Let's hold our turn at the distance that we're at and end turn.
Okay. It is then going to come to our golem, who now glows with that pale red light of the moon, and it's still only eyes on you, Hugh, as it is beyond any sort of rationale or thinking capacities, and 2 attacks. First one misses with a 10. And the second one misses with an 18. Seems that, well, Rue's damages are really bad, so are my attack rolls. Hopefully that goes, continues on to the night for you guys, right?
You're not using those gemstone dice, are you?
I am. The true color ones, the geode ones.
Okay.
Not like the rubies or things like that.
Okay.
So now I might change my dice.
Ooh.
So, that's it for our golem's turn. Hugh, what would you like to do?
Well, I think what I can do is try and wail on him with my longsword. So, first attack with advantage, 16.
16 hits.
Okay, second one is a 21. And the third one is be a crit.
Hell yeah, all of them hit.
All of them hit. Okay, so first we'll do the crit. And then we will fire. You told me in the past you can figure out the crit rate from the roll.
Yes.
Okay. Does that work out to be?
So, let me just pull this up in the Beyond app so that I can actually see it, easily. So, first with the crit is going to be... don't do this to me yet. There we go. First one, we'll take that 1, and then an 8, 3, so that crit damage rolled itself fine. 12 plus another 4 and 3, 7, 19 from the longsword.
Okay. And we get a regular attack for 5, as low as possible. 1.
Oof.
Oh no.
Okay, that was disappointing.
Oh no! Oh.
6.
1, 1, 1, and 2.
The rolls are spreading. It's not affecting just spells anymore.
That's right.
So, the blade cuts through and the stone begins to chip away, but it still stands, this beast of arcane and inorganic materials set on striking you down. And that will come to your turn.
Well, it's gonna get whacked a couple more times with my flaming scimitar. And 15 points of damage.
Hell yeah.
And then a miss. With a
You have
12.
sneak attack too.
Because you had
Right,
advantage.
right. Thank you.
Yes.
Somebody's paying attention. It's another 6 points.
Alright. Our golem's starting to look a little rough, a little hurt. More bits of it are falling off. Unfortunately, the 12 is a miss. It seems to dodge out of the way, understanding that there is pain in front and behind him. And as that happens, anything else from Vess?
Nope, that's it.
Alright, Rue, it is your turn.
Mhm. Do we want to try the guiding bolt again? Is the $1,000,000 question.
I mean, how much worse can your rolls get, right?
Don't tempt me. Because they can get a lot worse. I mean, or I could just straight up miss. Why not? Let's try that again for 200, Alex. So we'll cast Guiding Bolt. Let's do a first level. So again, channel some beams of lunar energy. That's a 16 to hit.
16 hits.
15 radiant damage.
Alright.
And next attack will have advantage.
This beast is starting to crack. The stone is crumbling. It is barely holding itself together after that guiding bolt.
Nice. I don't have any very useful bonus actions. We will just kind of move 10 feet randomly to one side, just so he's in motion a little bit.
Sounds good. Our golem is going to, again, strike out. First thing that he sees is you. That is a 24 on its first attack.
Well, that will hit. Because I can't use my defensive duelist with the longsword.
That'll be 12 points of bludgeoning. And I need a constitution saving throw.
I assume a 21 succeeds.
21 will be fine, yeah. But then he's going to try and hit again. But that's a natural one, so don't worry about it.
Work out.
And we just lost Sirenscape, so I can't even do the sad trombone. Oof. Hey, there we go. But that is it for our Golem's turn, which means Hugh, we come to you as it glows red around it. What would you like to do?
Smacky, smacky time.
Go for it.
Okay, that's going to be 1, 2, 3 hits.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in slashing damage, I did 20.
Hell yeah.
And fire damage, 8.
All right. With your flurry of swings and slashes, the sword cuts through the remainder of the stone, and then it crumbles to the ground, falling inert once more. And you are no longer bound by initiative.
Ooh.
And after that haste wears off, you guys can't take actions or move for a turn.
Mm-hmm.
But that would pass quickly as well.
Yeah. Only a few seconds that you have that wave of lethargy overcome you.
What was that?
You can always try and investigate the gate again, now that it seems you've bested the Guardian.
Oh, I was like imagining it was the gate, like
No.
reforming into a guardian.
No, no, no. You went to go investigate the gate and the energies that are around the gate because it seems broken. Um, Shot out and began to animate the nearby debris and fallen wreckage, and then that's what came after you. So the gate is still standing, still looks a little off, but if you want, you can always still investigate it. Or you can talk to your friends and see how they're doing after they got a little sleepy.
I kind of want to investigate the golem first and just kind of check it out because I've never seen an animated pile of stones before.
Yeah. Um, would you like to roll for me then I'll say a history or an arcana check?
Going for Arcana because I'm doing it off of that it was a magical creature. Right down the middle, it's a 10.
Yeah, it definitely seems that this is a magical creature of some sort. One that you don't have quite a name for. You've seen the animated remains of the dead, and fought against them. But this is not that. This was the stone and the debris of the ground raised up and given a human form. A little strange.
I think that was some sort of magical creature, you two. You ever seen anything like this?
No, it's some kind of. It's. I thought maybe our more pure alley. It's very magical. It seemed.
Um, I'm like nervous to approach the gate again for fear it'll like animate another one. But why not? It's the worst that can happen.
So, you move closer to the gate. Cautiously this time, aware of what happened last. And as you look, watching, no other sparks of magic seem to animate the nearby debris and wreckage. Though the magic still runs rampant and flickers in the gate and around it. If you investigate it, you spend about a minute, and you understand. You can use some of your magic to help stabilize it. You can expend a spell slot to remind it how the arcane functions. Or you can always try to tinker with it, as you've seen Tatina do before, though that might be a little bit more involved.
Oh, I'm no tinker. If Tatina was here, she could go at it, but I'm not. I am not a rock gnome.
Are you within Bargav range?
Uh, Let me check your map here real quick. Ba-ba-ba-bum. I love me some maps. Um, so they'd be at Wrecker's Edge. You were there, and then my notes.
the, the legend says a hex is 6 miles.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Um, Unfortunately, they would then be out of Fargab range, just barely.
Sorry, Rue. I don't think I can get to Tina on the bar gab right now.
Rue like walks around to Vass's backside and like pulls the Fargab like microphone speaker like off the wherever it's hanging and just starts like talking into it like Tatina, can you hear us? We need your help. Tatina. She's probably off dyeing her hair or something.
Well, I mean, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. She might be outside of the range.
Or
She
that.
could be dyeing her hair.
All right, Rue will walk back up and try and like channel his spell energies into this, maybe even like trying to remember what he saw Wyan doing when she was teleporting us across the distances.
Okay. Oh yeah.
What level spell slot would you like me to check off?
As long as it is a spell slot of first level or higher.
Okay. Then let's do first level.
You then see as the energy was flickering as you take your own spell, and it's not even fully formed, it's just the thought. And you hold on to the memory of Wyan as she had transferred you all across the spaces in a matter of seconds. And maybe it's the memory. Maybe it's the power that you are growing with each step on this adventure. But as soon as you release that spell energy, you hear the energy shift, crackle, and the portal you see as you open your eyes. Oh. Crackling energy filling the gateway. It leads somewhere. You've stabilized it. But where? What is on the other side? You have no clue of, not from where you stand. But it works. Whatever this is.
Rue looks back at the others. I mean, I did it. Now, what do we do with it?
Vass is very wary of random portals going to, who knows where.
Makes
So
sense.
he's keeping a safe distance and eyeing it warily.
Hmm.
Well, we can try and go through. We can come back later. Or
I fear not a doorway. And he was willing to walk forward into it. If you don't wish to come with, you can stay back.
Vass is good out here.
Okay.
Okay.
And Rue, would you rather stay here or come with?
yes, both. I don't want you to be alone and in trouble. If Vass gets in trouble, he can always call back to the others with the Fargab. try and meet up with them.
Don't substitute your judgment, my judgment for yours. If you feel it's too dangerous, I will bear the burden for us all.
What if it's a one-way ticket?
To adventure.
Vass just shakes his head.
But what if this is also a source of power that those elves are looking for?
Exactly. We won't know until we walk through.
Darrett did tell us to investigate the wastes, and these elves are definitely looking for something. This seems a lot more powerful than some dusty ruins that don't have this magical energy beaming out of them. I'll go with you, Hugh. Hopefully it's not one way.
Ah, away!
You, Rue, you step through the crackling portal, the gateway. Vass, you watch as your friends depart. After traveling most of the day, are you staying watch and seeing if this is a gate that they can come back from? Or do you follow?
Yeah. No, I'm gonna stay here and watch for a bit to see if they come back. If they end up in Faerun, I am gonna be so irritated.
They're not ending up in a Faerun. Um, so maybe I should make a note. Uh, uh, now, as you step through, you find yourselves standing on a high plateau in the middle of a winding mesh of ravines. All around you are the paths that you can see where the wash would come through off to the distant. You can see the ocean to your. If you are, when you step out, you are facing northward. It is off to your east. Why don't you go ahead and give me perception checks as well?
Oh, I'm off my game.
It was not a nat one. Phew.
As you look around, the gate behind you, of course, you see, has the same shifting energies that you had seen before. So it doesn't seem that it is one way. It looks like you can travel back to where you were. But yeah, there's just, it looks to be more rocks and ruins all about you for miles of travel. Again, you stand on this plateau in between the different canyons and ravines, crevices. It is a low wash day, so they do seem to be more dry.
So this does seem like we're still like geologically in the northern wastelands area.
Yeah. It does seem like you're still in the northern wastes.
Would I be able to tell about where from like recollection on the map and knowing that I can see the ocean?
Uh, you, I want to say you're the one that's carrying the map, yeah?
Uh, I might be, but Rue likes to carry maps in his head too, because he has a knack for remembering
Then
maps.
give me a survival check to see if you can place this.
22.
You can, and I've got the best way to answer that question in a visual format. So I will quickly drop this in our Dragonlance chat. And that should have our second gateway display up a little bit more northerly
Huh.
with the matching icon. So that way you know which one's match in case you find another.
Oh boy. Hell yeah.
Hmm.
So, you would be probably one, two, about 4 or 5 days northwest of where you were standing. A little bit past where you were trying to get to, but uh, it's all about perspective, adventure.
I don't know if we're gonna find much out here right now, Hugh. We're obviously still in the northern wastes. I think we're a bit north of where Dalamar wants to meet us.
Hmm.
But if we meet him without any information, I feel like that's pointless.
And it has
Yeah, I
only
think
been a day since you set out as well.
Right.
we should do some more examining and exploring before we can go check in with that, one with the elf.
If anything, this could be a shorter way home
Mm-hmm.
later on, or if home
Mm-hmm.
is going back to Wrecker's Edge. Or maybe we can tell Darrett and Tatina about it, and they can use it to get somewhere else if they need to go. We should probably go back and get Vass. Or not get Vass, rejoin Vass and Victoria.
Yes, our companions need us. They'll be lost in the wilderness. They're not very woodcrafty.
We're just gonna walk back up to the portal, but kind of go crouched over head first so that his hair is the first thing to go through, and just like leave the end of it kind of waving through before he steps through head first back to where Vass is.
As you've been waiting, quiet, nothing really strange has been happening since they fight the golem. You then see the wisps of gray and red that come and just float in the center, the lower center of the portal, um, before Rue walks out, followed by Hugh.
Hey, nothing to worry about, friend Bass.
Well, I'm glad you were able to come back through there and not get stuck there.
Vass, it was just more of the same through there. Looks like it might have been a day or so's travel north of what was it called? Wakenreth?
Yeah.
Wakenreth? Wakenreth. Um,
Wakenreth, Walkenreth, any other version of saying that.
So in the future, we might be able to use it as a quicker travel to get back toward Fleet, or Darrett might be able to use that portal to get farther north if that's where he needs to be.
Okay, that's good to know. Based on where you anticipate you came out in relation to where we were trying to get to, is do you think there's any advantage going through the portal and trying to get where we're going from that side or
It's farther
going from
away.
this side?
Yeah, I think it's farther away from where we want to be now. So that would just add to our travels.
Okay. Hey, can I ask a question?
You can.
When we were making arrangements with Jarrett and the others and explaining where we were going and the fact that they were kind of slowly coming along behind us, did we make any sort of arrangements to plan to be within far gab reach of each other each time we stopped to make camp?
Um, Not particularly. That was not a specific that was discussed. However, that is something that you can always you understand that they were setting up at Wrecker's Edge, and um, with the size of their troops and with how many moving and everything that would be going on, whereas you can cover about 12 miles in a day, they'd only be able to cover about 9. So anytime you'd be traveling backwards to get within closing distance to report back to them. And you can always just go far gap distance, or you can try and coordinate to get all the way back to them before scouting out further again. Um, would be your basic understanding of the situation. So you had been traveling most of the day by the time that you had reached the gate, and can continue out this day's travel, only about a few more miles before the sun begins to set, and you can camp for the evening. And much like with the night outside of the elven camp, you take your watches, and there's not really much that goes on in the evenings. So you all gain the benefits of a long rest.
It's
Hey,
necessary.
And essentially, for map keeping purposes, you're in the same hex that your gate is on. And then we'll be able to cover 2 more hexes in this day's travel. So where would you guys like to go? Do you go towards the river and travel those 2 hexes down towards your uh,
I feel like the river makes most sense because if you look
Yeah.
a little closer and you go like 2 hexes southwest, you come to like a canyon that you would have to cross anyway. Versus if you go toward the river, you would get to like some sort of, you'd be on the mesa.
well, the river and the canyon exist in the same areas if you look at
True.
your true map that doesn't have all the icons covering everything.
So I think going down the river, and next place to look at would be that going after there, and then we go to the northwest to up toward Stormstep, and then we'll leave the Spires of Dawn on for the last one.
Well, the Storm Step one is the Wakenrath. That's the one that you're meeting at.
Oh, okay. And we done the looked at the 2 gates, right?
Right.
Oh,
So we need to go
yeah.
to the
Then we'll
blue and then the tower and then
The other
the
tower.
other tower.
Yeah.
okay.
You can't quite see it unless you like zoom in, but because it's called the Sunward Fortress, there's like little sun rays that come out the side.
That's cool.
I had a lot of fun creating your little icons. And there might be more to
Oh,
come as you discover other areas.
well, yeah. In any event, that's the
Yeah.
probably the quicker path.
So west and then north and then west again. Uh, it's like the reverse is east now. And so 2 days of travel. Let's do a little roll here. Why don't we have Hugh roll for me a d10 at the start of the day?
Yeah, I love random rolls.
If you get another one. Oh,
9.
The waters remain low. The river here still fills part of the canyon, but it is definitely not as high as it looks like it has been in the past, from watermarks on the edges of the stone. It seems that the last few days have been dry, however. And it continues this day. And as you all are roaming around, you get through perhaps the first 4 hours of your traveling. And got low wash travel. Not quite that yet. Just have the wastes. Alright, as you are moving through, about 4 hours in, I'm going to ask for perception checks, please. Oh, hell yeah. That's great. Vas. Hugh. There is a sound that seems to catch your attention. Footsteps that disturb the rocks and the rubble. Though they don't sound humanoid. No, they sound bestial. But there sounds like a lot. Perhaps a large pack, or perhaps many legs. And as you turn, thus you thought that this can't be. As you see a waking nightmare coming towards you. 6 giant spiders.
Caitlin.
And as these spiders are appearing, this is where we have to roll our ad break. So, stick around here. We will be right back to see what happens. And as we are heading out, I do ask that you guys hang out with us in our chat room. You stay, you let the ads roll. Please don't leave us or mute them, but you can turn down the volume. And you can support us through watching the ads. They help us out a ton. Or you can make a direct donation. We have a Ko-fi link on screen. Ko-fi donations not only help support us at Wildwitch RP, but they also unlock awesome perks for our entire community. These perks benefit everyone who plays with us for the next week, including special companions, new quest lines, double XP, and double treasure. All can be unlocked through our donations. So stick around. We will be right back. Alrighty, we are back in action. As Vass and Hugh spot the spider pack coming towards your group. Again, 6 of them. Large. What is it that you would like to do here? Do you alert Rue of what you see?
Oh, it seems only fair.
That's
True.
like a-
Spiders.
Oh. Okay. Brew looks at Vass. You okay, son?
Um, no. there anything for Vass to hide behind?
Um,
Have the spiders noticed us, or did we notice them first?
you seem to. You see these spiders are on your trail. You don't know if they've noticed you entirely as a group, but they definitely seem to know that someone's passed by. And they're seeming to investigate that when you heard them and took spot and notice. Um, you are closer to the river, but it is not like a easy riverbank to get into. But you could drop down and start descending the canyon walls to get to the river to avoid them. If that is a possibility, it's probably a more extreme possibility, but that is a possibility. Um,
How deep are the canyon walls?
um, how deep are the canyon walls? Let me see if I got notes on that because I don't quite remember. I'll say that the canyon walls in this area are about 20 feet.
Just 20? Oh, that's tiny.
In this area, it changes.
Oh. Maybe we could just jump down. But the spiders could still follow us down the walls.
Spiders do have climbing capabilities.
If you two trust me, we can jump. I can make sure we don't take damage.
Okay. I trust you.
Vass?
Vass is already like at the edge.
Rue just walks between the two, grabs their hands, and pulls them off the edge. And as they start to fall, he casts Feather Fall.
All right, sounds good. And I'm just going to do a quick. Okay. As you take your friend's hand and you go over the edge, the weight pulling you all towards the canyon bottom. It's not a terribly far fall, 20 feet. Farther than perhaps what is pleasant, but it all stops when Rue casts the feather fall and you all begin to gently glide down until you reach the bottom where the waters move through. And
There's a cat hemoth that entered the scene.
but you look up, perhaps hoping to see no spider faces. And it does not look like the spiders have caught wind that who they were tracking has gone over the edge. They do not follow you. So you continue your walk through, and as you are continuing this evening through the waters and
I mean, Vass, as much as I know you probably like to smash those spiders, I imagine completely avoiding them is still a better option for you.
Yes, Vass is his heart is racing and he's pressed himself up to the edge of the wall, trying to make himself as small and unnoticeable as possible. And he just nods.
Besides, I guess I can. I guess we've encountered better enemies than spiders already, so it's no big loss.
You know, it's interesting how you find spiders in so many environments, right? They're out here in the desert where there's like almost nothing alive. They're in the forests, they're in caves, they're in your shoes, if you wear shoes. I mean,
I find it interesting that giant spiders can still breathe. I mean, you'd think their lungs would be crushed. They're not built for it.
Gas
truly
is trying
are.
to hard not to take his shoes off to check for spiders.
Add a new fear to Vass's character sheet, right?
Well, it's amplifying the one fear. Uh, um,
That's
Make
based
sure
on a
you feel
true
that
story, by the
phobia.
way. Yeah.
well, yeah, no doubt. Spiders will hide anywhere. Um, but,
This story was a tarantula in the shoe. No
ooh,
joke.
no, thank you. Um, besides the spiders and the quick trip down the side, you now walk alongside the river. There's a small bank here. Um, and you're able to continue your travel. No further, it seems, disturbances. And once more, you find yourselves, or actually, no, why don't we roll a survival check for you guys to find a suitable place down here to bed, to set up your camp.
Gas is highly motivated.
Yeah, Vess, you cannot have spiders where you are sleeping after this, and you just got over the whole thing with the weird Spider-Man amalgamation, and then as soon as that was getting okay and processed, the giant spiders appear, not having it. So, with your efforts and with Rue and with Hugh in the background, speaking of adventure and sense of just exploring and understanding the world as it is, you do Sirenscape, buddy. Uh, you find yourselves finding a good place. Still staying low and close to the river, but it is definitely dry enough that you can set up your camp. Um, and like before, the evening does not seem to bring any sort of troubles for any of you. You take the benefits of a long rest, and you awake in the morning. And you are, I understand, well within reaching your destination, your first destination on this day's travel. Yes, you should reach the shrine in the middle of the day, perhaps towards the evening. If you start your travels early in the morning.
Guess that's a little contingent on if Vass is still a sleeper, even out in the wilderness.
He wouldn't be sleeping very well the night after seeing six enormous spiders. I don't know if he got any sleep. He might have to take a point of exhaustion.
If you take a point of exhaustion, I'll give you advantage. Or not advantage, an inspiration point.
Ooh.
I have an inspiration point already.
Oh no. But if that's how you feel that Vash would be, is that it was a rough night of sleep and you take a point of exhaustion, you can roll with it.
I'm gonna take a point of exhaustion because that's would not have been sleeping like at all
Okay.
that night.
If Rue noticed that Vass is restless, he would bring out the music box and have it play the song, hoping that that helped.
Gus would appreciate that. Maybe right before dawn he gets half an hour of sleep, but I don't think he got very much.
Okay. So, why don't we, as you all set out in the morning, the canyons are still quite low. Waters remain the same level as they were before. And Rhubarb, could you roll for me a d20 this day?
That's a natural 8.
8. The morning passes with nothing much to throw you off of your course, and as you are reaching the midday, you are starting to get closer. You remember on the map in your mind and checking the map that you had seen before. The shrine is close. It's about middle of the afternoon when you are arriving to the Blue Phoenix Shrine. When you are walking towards it, your group, you see that there is a camp that has been set up near the shrine's entrance. And that there are, it looks to be elves here. And they are, you spot blue in their skin tones, some green, some teals. Colors that remind you of water, remind you of the sea. And there are figures that seem to be somewhat on alert, on watch, part of this camp, and perhaps are looking out at your group as you approach.
So this is not the same colors that are indicative of the Sylvan Esti, though they were wearing, so at least some of them were wearing blue. These are actually like blue elves.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Do we recognize any of the blue elves?
You do not recognize any of the blue elves, and as you get closer, you see one of them has, not in any sort of hostile holdings, but there is it seems to be a spear that has been carved from bone or cartilage, something that would be more useful perhaps in water with the way that it is shaped. But this figure, he just seems to be holding it like one would a not to be ready for battle, but just to have something close, to have it nearby. And seeming to wait for your approach. Head is high as he stands on alert.
Just the one elf?
There's more than one elf, but he's the only one that seems to be, like, actively waiting for you all.
How far away are we at this point?
If you continue to walk, I would say at this point you could be about maybe 50 feet away. And I just put a picture of him in our Dragonlance chat.
Whoa. It's like doing some breaking moves right there.
Well, I'm pretty sure
It
that's
looks like
supposed
he's-
to be underwater scene,
Well,
but
Yeah.
I'm gonna call
I
him
love that his
Walter.
pants have the little the little thing that goes under your butt.
oh yeah.
I feel like we're at a standoff of ways with this elf.
Well, he's not being hostile. It does seem that he is again just watching. He hasn't called for you to halt or sent anyone to meet you as you all have continued your approach. But he does seem to be a part of the camp that is right outside of the shrine of this.
I think as we approach, like, Rue's gonna make sure it's obvious that he's empty-handed, even though he has like daggers slung to his waist and stuff like that. Like, not walking with hands up or anything, but just hands visible.
This is probably lagging a little bit behind the other two, walking like a zombie. He's very tired.
I guess if we're getting close enough, we would just kind of call out to the elf and in like maybe somewhat of a neutral greeting. And also just say like, you seem a bit out of your element here in this desert scape. Are you here for the Blue Phoenix Shrine?
You seem a bit out of your element as you come to our people's holy pilgrimage.
This is true. I've come a long way to be here. Though maybe not quite the same pilgrimage that your people make for this. Out of character, did we get any like direction as to what we were expecting to find at these locations, or just that we should go investigate them in general?
Go investigate them in general, figure out what's going on here, and then when you have that information, report back to Dalamar, and he can use the information you've gathered to narrow down where the City of Lost Names could be.
So now we know that these folks are making some sort of pilgrimage to this desert, which is interesting since they're water individuals.
Well, you did walk along the riverbank to get here, so the river leads up. You do not look like the figures who attacked us. If you are here respectfully, you may come and converse in peace.
We have no intention of attacking you like you might have been attacked before. We just seek information.
Perhaps then we may converse. And as you close the distance, the figure again, the spear seems more almost the way that this figure holds it, an extension of him. He seems well trained with it. I'm Ishvern. And who may you be?
You can call me Rhubarb. I come from the far west of Sandcrest.
That seems a very far journey. Perhaps not as far, or perhaps farther than even our journey.
It does seem these times have displaced many peoples in one way or another. You
This...
mentioned that you'd been attacked.
Yes. Each year, a group is sent from Thoradin Bay. We travel here to this shrine to honor the Sea Lord for his bounty. And this year, we know and keep watch of the wash, but we know the rivers that are reliable. But we did not know that there were men, monsters, that were waiting for us. An army of black and red. The dragon symbol upon their armaments. 4 of our figures were caught, including our leader, Yerkal. Others perished in the confrontation. I managed to leave 5 of our group to the shrine. And that is who we have with us. And we only have one offering to offer the Sea Lord. We've not yet made our way inside. I do not wish to risk any more lives without the guidance of Yerkal. But I do not know her fate.
This army has captured and killed many of our friends as well. Our leaders as well, just as yours. We can only hope that they're still alive somewhere within that army and that we will be able to get them back. Rue thinks of Becklin. Maybe even Bakar's son. I don't know, unless we know that Bakar's son was killed.
You don't. He's just missing.
Yeah. Much as we don't like Bakaris.
These elves reacting in any way to seeing a red-skinned, horned, pallid individual?
Not really. But perhaps that might do, you see that they themselves share very sort of, different features than the elves you've seen of the camp or of the cities. The most obvious, of course, is the webbing between the fingers to help for the swimming. They seem more suited for a life away from more civilizations. And this is, again, you've only seen one other elf like this. An elf that you'd met in the woods outside of Kalamon with black robes. Part of a bounty hunting group.
No.
Of course, she was a very different figure than the one you are talking to now, but it seems that your visage is perhaps not off-putting to them, and perhaps it's, again, due to they live in a very different world normally. If you are truly wishing to bring hope to my people, perhaps you can assist us in making this offering to keep with our traditions.
Yeah, funny you should say that because I was thinking the same thing. My rituals and offerings are very sacred and meaningful to my people as well. And I can't imagine if we couldn't do our rituals to our forest spirits and moons. How can we help? Rue's just offering the help of Hugh and Vass, apparently.
Oh, the forest spirits must be propagated, else they eat your children.
That's just the spiders.
Oh, I know the difference between a spider bite and a child eaten spirits.
Change the subject, please.
Well then,
We're like risking Vass going to like 2 or 3 levels of exhaustion here.
right? Then if you are willing to help, we can head through the shrine. That way we can make this offering.
Rue's just hoping the offering isn't the smallest person around.
No, he had mentioned what his offering was. It was a pouch of deep blue pearls.
Oh,
I believe it's deep
Ooh.
blue pearls.
sounds pretty.
A pouch of blue deep sea pearls. Yeah, why not? Why not make the deep sea pearls deep blue as well?
I like it.
Alright. If we are going into the shrine, let me get you a map of the shrine real quick. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Un momento.
See?
This is more for the strange way that it's affecting our
Yeah.
visuals on stream.
Vass is now a sea elf.
Alright. Oh, I
And
synced the wrong
he's
one.
ripped too, so I'm not complaining.
I sent the wrong
Okay.
version.
I do like that he has like that like shell like shoulder piece too. That's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, the shell pauldron? There we go.
Yeah.
Alright.
And I like the dagger. I like that it's made out of bone. It makes me think of Rue and his like amber and ebony daggers.
All right. Sorry about
Okay.
the strange thing, but there we go. Um. So you are led to by Ishran, who is joining your group for this traveling. You see, past the camp, this shrine entrance, it is carved in the escarpment of the ravine, and it's an ancient and algae-covered double door. It's made of white granite and stands bright in the sun as it begins to set. You see that it's etched with an eroded image of a majestic bird of outstretched wings. And if anyone wants to roll for me a religion check. Rue and Hugh. You can see past the soft edgings and recognize this is a blue phoenix. The symbol of the god Habakkuk, god of the seas and of animal life. And perhaps could be who this sea lord that the elves speak of. The door, however, is closed, and the your scout, Ishvar, your call opened this door by saying a specific prayer, but it is not one that I know. We could attempt to push it open or break it down, though I would prefer a less violent path.
We don't want to upset I don't even know what the right word is. Your god.
It seems to
Yes,
be
but-
a very sort of reverential trip. They make a yearly pilgrimage. They make offerings. So a deity probably is not far off, though perhaps it is for a clinging to past traditions in hopes of a god's return, since they did leave with the cataclysm.
Is this the kind of door that one might be able to open with thieves' tools?
No, this is not the kind of door that one would be open with these tools.
I didn't think so, but I had to ask.
If you don't ask, the answer's always no.
True. Is there any way we could leverage Victoria, who I assume is in tow, and her abilities of Paladine to see if she could pray to this god somehow?
I'm going to say no, just because I
Okay.
don't play for characters that aren't here.
Got it.
But I mean, you can talk to your companions about what you know and what you think you could do, or plan this out. You've got the door, the symbol of the blue phoenix on it, and a guy that wants to drop off his pearls.
I'd prefer if we don't break this door down if possible.
Yeah, let's see if we can do the non-destructive option.
Vass, you might not be able to, like, pick a lock, but is there anything with your skills, like you could see if there's some other sort of mechanism that we could potentially overwhelm and how we could overwhelm it?
I was just about to ask that.
Roll me an investigation check, please.
Okay.
Can I give Vass guidance for that?
Sure.
It wouldn't have been too bad if I had not had it disadvantage.
I'll say I've not yet given the result, so if you want to add the guidance onto that.
Oh, there's guidance.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, a 4.
16. So you don't see any sort of mechanisms that speak of a trap. As you look around and peer through, the doors do open inward, and there seems to be something that holds them shut. It might be arcane, as you're not seeing quite a mechanism that is easily interacted with, and it might have to do with the prayer that Ishvern had spoken of. So perhaps magic could open this door as well if you had something that is good at opening locked things. And then, of course, you know that there's always the knock it down option. You could try and target the areas around the hinges so that way the door itself isn't broken.
I tell my companions that.
Magic, you say?
Vegetation was one of the ones that could open doors, but I don't see it listed here.
Thaumaturgy. Unlock doors open.
Thaumaturgy. Okay, I was thinking it was prestidigitation, it was thaumaturgy. Shoot. I'm not the type of tiefling that gets thaumaturgy. I get mage hand instead.
Oh. Let's see. So Vass mentioned that it's maybe magically sealed. Yeah?
Yeah.
Rhubarb is willing to try something then. It may work, it may not. He's going to gesture at the door and issue a command word and cast Dispel Magic on the door.
As you try to cast Dispel Magic on the door, there is a small wavering here, but the energies in place are so much beyond your capability that there's a reason they've lasted this long, and they feel powerful, like some godlike being placed them there.
I think these magics are well beyond my comprehension and capability.
So there is no way, then, to bring these offerings to the sea lord, unless we break down the door.
I'm fearful that that's the case, yes. But I could try and see if I can get a sign from the moons as to whether that's the best path forward, but I can't get any more information about what may or may not open your door.
Are you sure this is the only way into this temple?
It's the only way that my people have ever entered in through. Rue, do you ask the moon?
I'm tempted to use my augury for a minute and just kind of explain the plan of breaking down the door to Lunatari to see if we expect good results, bad results, you know, wheels and woes. I'd like pull out the dragonelle bones that I crafted as my kind of divining sticks, and maybe even like, I guess it looks like there's maybe a little bit of water around this area, like cast them in the water and look for symbols and signs in them.
As you cast the bones splash into the water, they drift in the small pool, but they offer nothing to you. The results here not be especially good or bad. It seems that they will just be what they are.
I have no insight. I think that I'm afraid breaking down the door might be the only option we have if you want to make your offering to your god.
Yes, it's up to you.
Hugh and Rue, you were the ones that succeeded on the religion check. Roll me insight or intelligence.
Insight.
Ooh, that's great. A 9.
Yeah. Breaking down the door seems to be the only option. As that's so funny. Oh, I love Twitch chat. Oh, if it is the only way, then we should open it as we can. I believe that while Yakal had the Sea Lord and the prayer to open this with ease, the offering is more important than the door. So,
I was looking into it and trying to figure out the mechanism that's behind it, that's keeping it closed. I get any sort of sense that if you pushed the doors inward with enough force, just the mechanism part might give away, but the doors would still be functional as
it would take a tremendous amount of force, because it seems enhanced magically and not just a mechanical override. So it could be done, but it would not be the easiest of tasks.
a wave of thunderous force potentially push the doors inward without blasting them apart.
I'd say it'd be a straight strength check to try and push them open before attempting to attack and break them, but
Are you asking if you can cast Thunder Wave? Is that
Yeah.
Thunder Wave,
Those
the magic wouldn't be quite so refined. It would,
it would just blast apart the doors.
it would, it's not that it would blast apart the doors, but that is likely, and with how old these have been, and with the way that the wash moves through, like this is algae covered, water has gotten through the rocks, probably a bit more brittle. There's no way to know that if you use your thunder wave that it isn't going to break apart.
I think that should be a last resort then.
So. Ishvern has given the okay that if there is no other way that comes to your minds, that we break down the door. He would much rather be able to get inside the shrine and the temple to make this offering rather than keep the doors intact.
Can we see, like, through the door at all, or is it sealed all the way around?
It's sealed. Like, you can see the seams, but you can't see through the seams, kind of deal.
So no misty stepping.
Misty stuff. And then if
Oh,
only
there
if you don't have everybody, you can't get everyone in.
True. Well, there's Vortex Warp, too.
You gotta see where you're warping, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I could get people through if I could see both sides with between Misty Steps and Vortex Warps and stuff like that. It'd just be a lot of effort.
How wide are the doors? Like, is
Um,
there enough room for all four of us to try and push at the same time?
yes, there's room for all four of you to push at the same time. If that is what you would like to try.
Um, I'm drawing blanks. I've talked to my gods. I've poked around.
Strength checks if you want to try and overwhelm this.
Strength
Save.
check.
Check.
That tracks.
0. Natural 1 minus 1.
Ooh.
Track.
So you all push against these stone doors, but they are heavy, and it seems that the magical imbuements have made them sturdy in the years that they have withstood. They do not budge.
That didn't go well. Give it another try.
We can. Or we can. I am no good at the more intricate of my faith. I am here They protect her. If we had their call, she would know what to do, but we are left here.
Our most faithful friend is not here as well. She may have some sort of prayer that could get through the door.
Does anyone have sending?
No, we have that bird thing.
What is Rue's passive insight?
14.
14. As you speak of Victoria, and as you think of that, perhaps when you had reached out to Munatari, there was no response. But perhaps you are invoking the wrong deity. You are at a shrine that is, it seems, sacred to Habakkuk.
And you said, oh, Hugh and I, that's right, Hugh and I did recognize the bird symbol, right?
You did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on the door?
Mm-hmm. It makes up the design of the entire door, it seems.
So it's high enough like I could reach out and maybe even touch it on the door.
Yeah. You could reach one of the talons or any of the feathers, for sure.
Ooh, talons. You know I like talons. How about if I do something like that then? Like, Rue could walk up to the door and reach out to touch the talon like he's going to push on the door, but he doesn't want to push so much with his strength because he's not but maybe more with like his mental strength and just think about this creature, this possible deity, and I almost imagine like him visualizing like the bird like spreading its wings and almost like that's the motion of like the door opening at the same time, like kind of like a ritualistic beseechment to this phoenix, to this bird.
As you reach out, Rue, and you have these visions, this is where we must take our second ad break for the evening. So stick around. We will be right back to see what happens with the doorway and if this will be enough to open it. You can hang out and chat. You can let the ads run, but please don't leave us or mute them. Ads are a huge part of how we keep our games affordable. So stick around. We will be right back. Rue, you have moved forward and touched the talon. You envision the phoenix coming to life, opening, and it's clear in your eyes as you see it. Perhaps it is your connection to the powers above Prim Perhaps it is similar to when you stepped through that red temple. And you feel a movement through you. Something not quite yourself, but it doesn't feel invasive. Do you resist this movement?
No.
It is knowledge that comes from within you, but also from without. And you all hear a single name echoed, almost as part of a litany, unheard, a prayer unspoken. As you, in this almost mental beseechment of opening the door, just speak the name Habakkuk, and the doors open. The water sloshing forward into this temple.
Rue opens his eyes and looks forward into the temple.
As you all look forward, Rue, your hand still outstretched for that brief moment. A long room stretches ahead. The walls carved of motifs, rolling waves. The ceiling, 15 feet up, is supported by twin pillars, glowing with a faint blue light. And at the rear of the chamber stands an altar. It is carved with coral-like designs, and behind it rises a sizable granite sculpture depicting the same bird from the shrine's entrance. But its outstretched wings are now wreathed in flames. An archway opens to a chamber on the western side. A simple stone door stands on the wall to the east. As you each step in, Ishvan moves towards the western archway. You are strangers here. You must cleanse yourselves in the water before proceeding into the shrine deeper.
If his words indicate that he would mean for us to follow, then Rue would follow.
He has asked you to enter into the shrine with him, but he is also, before he moves further in, he points you towards the western door, saying that you must wash before proceeding further into the shrine. So you'd be able to get far enough to go to that archway, but any further might be perhaps disrespectful to his culture and norm.
Yeah, I would do his recommended bidding of washing as appropriate.
Okay.
Mm.
So, you see that in the center of this room, a 3-foot-high brass basin, and it is filled with clear water. There is a relief that ornaments the walls, depicting great seabirds dipping into the waves alongside the leaping fish and other whimsical creatures. Ishvern is the last to follow in. It seems that he too washes his hands, his face. Gosh dang it, Sirenscape. We're almost done for the night, but please. What do the rest of you do?
do the same thing that the elf did.
Okay. Thus, as you wash, the waters are crisp and cool, and you feel refreshed. You may remove your exhaustion level.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey!
Yeah, if Ishfern is just washing like hands, arms, and face, then I think Rue would follow his example. Like he's more than happy to wash as much or as little as he should, but he doesn't want to offend them and their culture and their god. And
Yeah.
that includes even like no drinking of the water unless instructed or allowed, by following example.
Okay. Rue, as you follow example, you wash face, hand, arms, the exposed areas, and you too feel the crisp, cool, refreshing waters. You gain 5 temporary hit points.
All right. Hugh was kind of just hanging back, but as he saw that it seemed fine, he's going to check out the water.
Okay. Checking out the water, quick wash of hands, maybe face. You've been walking all day. And it is, again, cool, refreshing. And Hugh, you gain 5 temporary hit points. And while you are here, um, again, you have that moment of looking around and seeing these perhaps at once well tended to uh, murals and depictions on the walls, but have now gone to a stage of being forgotten, only now kept alive in the traditions of Ishvern and these people. You can return back to that main hall now. And you see, of course, there's that door off to the east. It is closed. There's the altar and then the statue of the bird, wings wreathed in the flames.
Ishfern, are these flames ever burning?
Uh, believe that they are. Let me double check.
Sorry, you may have said this already. Are the flames normal looking or are they like blue?
Uh, so yes. There are blue flames that are ever burning, and those are around the creature here, but they are also spread about the other areas of the shrine. They seem
Maybe
to be almost like torchlight, but they never go.
these flames seem similar to the purple flames we saw underneath the
No,
um, council chamber.
they do not seem similar to the purple flames.
Okay.
These ones you would be able to feel is that, actually, no, they are fairly similar. Except that they are blue, but they don't seem to be illusory like the ones. They don't seem to depict any sort of stories to be told. But there's no heat, and they require nothing to feed upon, no kindlings or anything like that.
The purple flame that Thoth absorbed or took were they illusory flames as well, or were they real?
They seemed illusory, but also probably real if Soth was going after it. There's perhaps more to it than you know, but they didn't give off any sort of heat, and when you touch them, if you touch them, there was no burning sensation, and then they had, of course, the visions of that story that you saw, Soth's story, and then the faces that stared at you from those lost and beyond.
I don't want to like. I don't know what the right intrude on this person's shrine. So I would imagine if he wants to make his offering,
Yeah.
Okay.
as appropriate.
Yeah. So. If you follow him, then he doesn't move up to the altar. It seems that there is another place that he must go. And he moves towards that door on the eastern side. As he opens the door and you all pass through, you are walking through water here. It's about 2 feet tall.
Oh
Okay.
man.
Tallest in your tribe. How you doing?
It's like when you get in the shallowish end of the pool, but you keep your arms up because it's like coming into your armpits, like
Oh my goodness, I
kind of
love it.
on your tippy toes a little bit. Like that's
Beautiful.
probably what's going on here.
All right. Moving through the hall, it is empty, but there's the northern door, and there is an inscription here. Do any of you speak Elvish?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Do any of you ask what the inscription says? As you do have an elf that is leading you.
What? I do speak English. Elvish. Elvish, yes.
Elvish is English now. Someone alert the Brits. So, no, if you speak Elvish, you would see in its script, long having been here, honor those who came before and walk on.
Walk on. I'm gonna try walking on it.
It's just over the door, so you can pass through. Doesn't seem to be a riddle of sorts.
No.
Just seems to be some elvish saying of this temple. But you enter into what seems to be a crypt here, past that door. Alcoves to the west and east, with waist-high stone sarcophagi that are sculpted, you see, with images of shells and graceful sea creatures. And you see that there are more elvish inscriptions here, if you would like to investigate. See what they say.
Okay, let's look at what they say.
19, hell yeah. To the west, you see the inscription, Herzon, who built this prayer in stone. And you definitely, I think, notice this, Hugh. I just need to check for someone else. Yeah, Hugh, you would definitely notice this. The lid on this sarcophagus, as you are overlooking it, as you've read this inscription, resembles the layout of the shrine. Though you are a little bit thrown off as you see that while this crypt has no visible exits, the room on the map that is corresponding to where you stand features a second passway leading to the southwest. So you have that knowledge. On the sarcophagus to the east, there's another inscription in Elvish. Awinthel, our devoted first priest.
Okay, this seems like normal.
You are,
Okay,
it
shrine things.
seems, yeah, but you are, it seems, at a dead end. There is no other exits, it seems, to this crypt.
What is our guide doing right now?
He's standing and looking around. It doesn't seem that, this is where he normally goes, as this is typically a job for the priest. So, he is attempting to look around and see where to go next.
Ishvar, have you been here and done this before?
I have been part of the pilgrimage before, but I do not go further than the main hall and the altar, typically. Offerings are made by our priest, but our priest was lost during the attack.
Right. And those inscriptions. Did Hugh relay what these inscriptions say, or is he just hanging
I
on?
definitely would have, yes. I would have read them aloud as I was reading them.
Okay.
So, then you'd all be made aware that one of the sarcophagus has then the design that matches the crypt, almost like a map. Or the shrine, almost like a map, including where the crypt is. It includes another entrance towards the southwest.
I mean,
Yes, go over to that area and look around.
Give me an investigation check.
It was on an 11 and then rolled over to a 4.
Oh no!
I do not see anything.
It's a wall.
Oh, yep, with some water on the floor.
is the sarcophagus tall and maybe the wrong word, short enough that Rue could even see the top of it and see the layout?
Sure. Why not?
I'd like to use my feature that says I have an excellent memory for maps and geography to my advantage. And I'm curious with what did the first inscription said? Honor those who came before and walk on.
Mm-hmm.
Can I look in the same area as Vass?
Yeah.
I'd like to.
You hit a wall.
So it's a solid wall in that corner.
It seems so.
What did it say? Honor those who came before and walk on.
We need to pay our respects to the people in the sarcophagi, and then maybe the doorway will reveal itself.
I think so. Herson, who built this prayer in stone. The whole shrine is a prayer. Something.
Can Vass make an offering to one of the sarcophagi?
Sure. What offering would you like to make?
I would like to offer the small wooden carving of a kingfisher that I got at the festival for good luck.
As you place the offering, it's something that you've held since Crispin's funeral. And it seemed like no more than some tchotchke. But as you step back after making it, it seems right where you've placed it, almost easily blending in to the area around. You make the offering, and then you hear a creak as the stone opens, right where you once stood.
Wait, Vass was at the sarcophagus, right?
You moved over to where Vass was, Rue, and then Vass went over to the sarcophagi, placed the offering down, and that's when the door where Vass was once standing, so close to you, Rue, opens.
Rue calls out, Vass, I got it open. I don't know
Good
how.
job, bud.
And as you make the offering, and as the pathway forward becomes clear, I think that is a great place for us to end this week's episode. So, thank you to our players for playing. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you to our viewers for viewing. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next stream, but until then, head over to wildwitch.com. Check us out there. Jump over into our Discord if you want to play in a game yourself. And of course, as always, may the ever-burning light forever guide your steps. Laters.